Level 1. The Loner. You don't realize it yet, but this is where it begins. Not with a gun, not with a plan, with a movie ticket. It's 1976. You're 22 years old. You live in California. You don't have many friends. Maybe none, if you're being honest. Nobody really looks at you. Nobody really sees you. You move through rooms like a draft, present, unfelt. Your name is John. And one afternoon, you walk into a theater and sit down in the dark, and the screen lights up, and suddenly, finally, you see someone who looks like you, feels like you. Travis Bickle, a loner, a ghost in a city that doesn't care he exists. You watch Taxi Driver once, then you go back, then again, 15 times total. You're not watching a movie anymore. You're studying a blueprint. You start wearing the jacket, army fatigue, heavy at the shoulders. You start drinking what he drinks. You start thinking about guns the way he thinks about guns. Not as weapons, exactly, as solutions. That's how it starts. Level 2. The Fixation. But there's something else in that movie. Someone else. She's 13 years old, and she's playing a character named Iris. Her name off-screen is Jodie Foster. And somewhere between the third and fourth viewing, the line between the character and the girl blurs for you and then disappears entirely. You know it's wrong. Somewhere underneath everything, she's 13, you're 22, she's famous, you're nobody. But you keep going back to the theater anyway. And every time the credits roll, the feeling doesn't leave. It follows you home. It sits with you in your quiet apartment. It gets louder. You're convinced, absolutely, completely convinced, that one day you will meet her, that she will understand you the way nobody else has. You don't realize it yet, but you've just handed the wheel to something you can't steer. Level 3, the pursuit. Years pass. The obsession doesn't. It's 1980 now. You've moved to Colorado. Jodie is 17, nearly 18. She's been accepted to Yale. You read this somewhere. A magazine. Something clicks into place in your mind, like a key finding its lock. You book a flight to Connecticut. You find her dorm. You figure out the mailbox. You write the notes, poems, declarations, the kind of words that feel profound from the inside and terrifying from the outside. You get her phone number somehow. You call. She answers, once or twice. Her voice is measured, careful. She tells you she can't talk to strangers, that it isn't safe. You record the calls. Look, I really can't talk to you. You understand why I can't carry on these conversations with people I don't know. You hear rejection. You decide to try harder. She stops answering, hands your letters to the dean, reports you. You are not deterred. Deterrence requires a version of yourself that can hear the word no. That version doesn't exist yet. Level 4. The plan. Here's where you cross the line you can't uncross. You go back to the movie. You think about Travis. You think about what Travis does to get the girl's attention, to prove himself, to matter. He targets a politician. The logic is clean inside your head. It won't survive daylight. But you're not operating in daylight anymore. Jimmy Carter is running for re-election. He's campaigning in Ohio. You travel there. You get within 20 feet of the President of the United States. No weapon, no real plan, just reconnaissance. A test. You pass the test. You start to feel something you haven't felt in years. Purpose. Level 5. The airport, Nashville. Carter is holding another rally. You pack the guns in your luggage. Plural. You're ready this time. Security stops you at the airport. They open the bag. They find the handguns. You get arrested on the spot. Then, a few hours later, you get released. Small fine. Different era. Different laws. The guns get confiscated. That's the only consequence. 4 days later, you walk into a pawn shop and buy more. There's no going back. You've already crossed the threshold, and you didn't even feel it under your feet. Level 6. The shift. Carter loses the election. Ronald Reagan wins. In your mind, this is almost administrative. You're not targeting a cause or a party. You're targeting proximity to greatness, to something that will make her look up and finally see you. You send Jodie a postcard, Reagan's inauguration printed on the front. On the back, you write something about the two of you occupying the White House one day. You tell her to remain a virgin. You drop it in a mailbox. You feel, briefly, like you are communicating. Level 7. The morning of. It's 1981. March 30th, you take a Greyhound bus to Washington, D.C. You check into a hotel, sit on the edge of the bed, read the newspaper. Reagan's schedule is printed right there in the public section, neat as a timetable. He'll be speaking in a couple of hours. You write one last letter to Jodie. Long, explanatory, the kind of letter where you lay out everything. Who you are, what you feel, what you're about to do, and why. You tell her this is for her. You load the gun. You don't realize it yet, but the person who boarded that Greyhound bus no longer exists. Level 8. Outside the Hilton. The speech ends. The doors open. Reagan walks out into the gray afternoon. He's waving, smiling. Secret Service flanking him on both sides, eyes moving across the crowd like searchlights. You are standing in a cluster of reporters. You've positioned yourself well. You raise the gun. You fire. Most of the shots miss the president. They find other bodies. A police officer, a Secret Service agent, a press secretary named Jim Brady, who will spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair and who will die decades later from complications traced directly back to this moment, to this parking lot, to you. One bullet ricochets off the armored limousine and punches into Reagan's chest. The Secret Service swarms him, folds him into the car. The car disappears. Then they're on you. Hands, pavement, weight. The gun is gone. That's how it ends. Level 9. The verdict. The trial takes over a year. The jury finds you not guilty by reason of insanity. You don't go to prison. You go to St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Washington, D.C. Psychiatric treatment. Locked ward. Supervised meals and medication and group sessions and the long, slow, institutionalized march of days. You will spend 34 years there. Outside, Jim Brady will give his name to a gun control bill. Reagan will serve 2 full terms and become a conservative icon. Jodie Foster will win 2 Academy Awards, come out publicly, build a full and successful life. The world will move. You will remain still. Level 20. The exit. They release you in 2016. The paperwork says you are no longer a danger to society. Clinicians have reviewed the files. The doctors have signed off. You're 61 years old, and the world has rebuilt itself. You get a phone, you learn how the internet works, you start a YouTube channel, you post music, original songs, you appear on camera, older now, soft-spoken, the look of someone who has been somewhere the camera cannot follow. You say you're rehabilitated, you say you're well. The comments section is what it is. You don't talk much about the man you shot, or the men whose bodies caught your bullets, or the decades in a locked room, or the postcard, or the phone calls, or the 15 viewings of a movie that whispered the wrong things into the wrong ears at the wrong time. You just play the song. You don't realize it yet, maybe you never will, but the distance between who you were in that parking lot and who you are now on camera is the whole story. The whole terrible, unresolved, still breathing story. There's no going back. There never was. But here you are anyway. Still here.